Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you're watching the Bitcoin Vigilante. That's our Lightning wallet to support the show with Bitcoin. You can also support it with what's all scrolling below. We're on Venmo, Graham-Elwood. If there's no dash between my first and last name, that ain't me. That's an imposter. You can support us also on rockfin.com and patreon.com. We have been talking a fair amount about BRICS and why BRICS is important. It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and now there's probably another 3 or 4 countries. I forget the total list. Several countries have joined recently as well. So while America's fighting over which pro-fracking, pro-gun, pro-genocide warmonger to take over and screw over the American people, BRICS is basically one of what BRICS is doing is it's unifying the major powers of the world against the United States. And you might say, oh, it's an axis of evil or whatever. Well, America kind of brought this on themselves. We have been sanctioning everybody. We've been forcing everybody to use the petrodollar. We've been the financial and militarily bullying the world and jamming our policies and our empire down the world's throat. So they got sick of it. If you look at a map, Russia and China are surrounded by US bases, surrounded by them. And, you know, has China been bombing countries for the last 20 years? No, they've been doing the Silk Road Initiative where they've been spending money on airports and ports and stadiums and libraries and all this stuff. And it comes with, there's strings attached. Like, you need to buy our products. You need to be favorable to China. They're not doing it for free. But what would you rather have? Somebody come like build a library for you? Like they built a state-of-the-art library in El Salvador. I've seen it. It's amazing. I haven't been inside, but just from the outside, I haven't been inside it yet because there was a waiting line to get it. It's so popular. But I've seen all this Chinese infrastructure throughout Latin America, throughout Asia myself, and I know there's much in Africa. What would you rather have? That, or we're going to bomb you and sanction you, and we're going to, stage a coup to get your, socialist leader out of there and put in a CIA puppet? Like, what would you rather have? China coming in saying, we'll build all this stuff for you. You got to buy our products and play ball with us. Okay. I mean, what would you rather have? We're going to destabilize your country the American way and make it just war and hell and ruin your daily life. Or China comes and says, we'll make your daily life better. Because at the end of the day, that's most citizens in the world just want to go work, make decent money, provide for their families, have some, go out and do some fun things. That's most people throughout the world. I've been all around the world. That's most people. They just want to like lead a life, have a nice life. So in about 9 days, 8-9 days, on October 22nd, BRICS is going to announce its own gold-backed security. And the mainstream media isn't covering it. I haven't seen anything about this. So I found this channel redacted. It's not Lee Camp Show. I don't know much about it. I don't know if they're really right or left. I don't know where they land, but I just wanted to show you this video. I'm not endorsing this company or this media outlet, but what this guy is saying with regards to this issue is something we should listen to. So here it is.
And United States dominance is on the line right now. While most of the United States is focused on our election just 23 days away, something huge is happening where the global world order is being rearranged right before our eyes right now. And Washington, D.C. is desperately trying to hold on to power. There is a global war that is quietly happening that they don't want you to know about. Guys, this is as big as it gets for world power and U.S. dollar dominance and the failure of this Biden administration. So you better pay attention to what's happening. So there are a number of huge news developments that we need to cover today, which have massive implications for Western powers. And I'm going to show you something very troubling that NATO just did, which no mainstream media are covering, by the way. It's very concerning. But first, let's start with what's happening in Russia in just 9 days from now, a global showdown that is unprecedented in its scale and its implications. A titanic struggle is about to unfold between NATO and the BRICS nations. The timing, by the way, is set on purpose right before the United States election. It's a clear message from Putin and China that American dominance is coming to an end. This clash will officially kick off at the eagerly anticipated BRICS summit in Kazan, Russia, on October 22nd. Now, while the mainstream media might be busy pushing distractions, we are here to break down what's going on right now, what's truly at stake, a global battle over resources, the unraveling of the US dollar's dominance, the sort of fighting to hang on from NATO, and the potential shift for a seismic shift in global power dynamics right now. Now, you might be asking, why all the fuss about this summit? This isn't just any summit. This is the equivalent right now of the Bretton Woods Conference after World War II, which gave American dollar reserve currency status around the world. This BRICS summit represents the death of the Bretton Woods Conference and the end of US dollar dominance. Donald Trump said this is going to be worse than losing a war.
Our country's going to hell, and we're not going to be the big bar. We have power, but it's waning. In fact, it's waning in terms of our currency. And I'm not just talking about the value of our currency. I'm talking about our currency being used throughout the world.
You want it to remain. You want the dollar to remain the world's reserve currency.
Well, I think it's bigger than losing any war.
And Trump is right. Under President Biden and Kamala Harris, the BRICS nations have massively accelerated their size and scope. On October 22nd, the BRICS countries, comprised of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa as its leaders, now expanding to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE. It now represents a staggering 35.6% of global GDP by purchasing power parity and 45% of the world's population. Iran has joined BRICS. At the same time, nutjobs in Washington, D.C. want to go to war with Iran to help Israel.
I've been saying for 6 months now, hit Iran. They have oil fields out in the open. They have the Revolutionary Guard headquarters you can see from space. Blow it off the map.
You see how this is lining up? Russia and China backing Iran? How do you think this is going to go? This grouping is now a significant counterbalance to Western economic and geopolitical hegemony, strength in numbers. But where does the real power come from? It comes from the resources. And that's exactly what this conference is all about. Putin is now setting his sights on resource-rich regions around the world, from the lithium plains of South America to uranium fields in Africa. And of course, the ever-vital oil and gas reserves. Energy resources are at the heart of this brewing conflict right now, but no one's really talking about it. The United States right now is set to double its electricity usage because of AI. And guess what? We get almost all of our uranium from Russia, all of our enriched uranium from Russia. What happens when Putin stops sending any to us? Game over. As you know, the surge for lithium, copper, and other critical minerals right now is really what's driving this covert global war. Now imagine if the BRICS nations cornered these markets. Western supply chains, especially those in tech and renewable energies, could face cataclysmic disruptions. We heard right from Senator.
So that's very interesting. Now, clearly, this is feels like a probably right-leaning thing, and my answer is like, this is why we need green energy. So, but again, this is whether you right or left, what BRICS is doing, this guy's absolutely correct on the financial side. They're going to have a gold-backed currency, a BRICS currency. America's dollar is not backed by gold. Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971, which turned us into a fiat currency. And ever since then, it's been bad. So this is, we've been using the US dollar and using it, the petrodollar. Everyone's had to use it to trade oil and other goods. But I've been talking about how this started. I mean, before BRICS, I told you in like 2018 or 2019, how Russia and China got rid of the petrodollar and started using the petro yuan because they trade a lot, especially in oil. China needs a lot of oil. Russia's two main exports are oil and military, right? And also uranium, as that guy pointed out. So this is, and if we had real leadership in this country, which Biden is not a real leader, neither is Trump. Trump is a complete jackass. And I'm going to do another segment showing you how Trump has made his own cryptocurrency a shitcoin. And he wants to, I'm going to show you in a second what he wants to do with any country that wants to get off the US dollar. It's just more ridiculous, old school thinking. What we really need is forward thinking, doing two things. One, get onto green energy. It provides a lot of jobs. It is fossil fuel propaganda when you hear politicians say, oh, this Green New Deal is socialism. It's going to make all of you have to, ride a bicycle rather than driving your van, or whatever nonsense they say. No, a Green New Deal, it's after the New Deal that FDR did when he put all of America to work when he took office in 1932, I believe. After the country had been crushed by the 1929 stock market crash. So a Green New Deal would put the whole country to work. The whole country, rather than spending all this money on pipelines and fracking, which is so dumb, and Kamala's pro-fracking, as is dumb Trump. They're both pro-fracking, fracking is a scam, by the way. It's just an oil lobby scam. It's bad for the environment. I've done numerous videos showing how earthquakes are on the rise. But if we went green energy, America should be the chief export of green energy. I say that because green energy ultimately is a technology. It's harnessing natural resources, and it's a technology. So like any technology, it just gets smaller, cheaper, and faster by and large, right? Like, so this is an iPhone 12. The new 16s are better. If you remember your first iPhone, my first iPhone 4 was this like big, heavy brick, didn't do nearly what this does. So that's what technology, right? Everything gets smaller, faster, and less expensive. So we could be doing that. I've done numerous videos on all of the things we could be backing. We could have high-speed rail coast to coast. We could have solar panels. And what we should be doing, Trump, I thought, would understand. He doesn't understand Bitcoin at all. He's failed. He doesn't get it at all. And I don't think Harris or Biden understand. Well, Biden doesn't know what date is, so they don't understand it. But if this country did what El Salvador did, start using Bitcoin, right? One of the number one owners of Bitcoin is the United States government, because we've seized a lot of it. If we did those two things, and people say, well, Bitcoin's bad for the environment. No, not necessarily. Well, traditional banking is way worse for the environment. The United States military is the number one polluter in the world. So if we went to green energy for everything and spend our money instead of on drones and war, and spent all of this research and development on how to kill fellow human beings, instead spent research and development on how to advance green technology, there's already this green energy out there. It just needs big money behind it. It needs a top-down solution. We could solve all of these problems, but America's going to get its ass kicked by BRICS, because we're still like, we're the big. It's the arrogance. It's like any monopoly. We're Blockbuster. You can't beat us. Well, Netflix is coming along and wiped you off the map. And now Netflix and the streaming services are like, and someone's going to beat them. Someone's going to come back with a blockchain and or Bitcoin streaming service, and it's going to crush Netflix, right? So anytime someone has a monopoly, and then with that monopoly comes arrogance, and arrogance always gives you a huge blind spot. When you think no one can kick my ass, that's what is going to happen. And that's what always crushes empires. So I want to show you this other thing. That's pertinent to this, because this is, again, why BRICS is going to crush us. Because then Trump is saying this, and Trump, doesn't know what he's talking about. Of course, Trump and Harris are so bad. This is why I'm voting for Jill Stein. So this is what Trump's solution to any country that abandons the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. This is what he's going to do, and this is going to sound. It's going to, oh well, yeah, you get him, Trump, and it's not going to work.
Sir, we like you very much, but we're going to no longer adhere to being in the reserve currency. We're not going to salute the dollar anymore. I'll say that's okay. And you're going to pay a 100% tariff on everything you sell into the United States. And we love your product. I hope you sell a lot of it into the United States, but you're going to pay 100% tariff. He will then follow it up by saying, sir, it would be an honor to stay with the reserve currency. That will be like just playing. That's not even chess, that's checkers. But you don't have listen to this. You don't have other people that can talk that way. If a country tells
So, all right. I forgot to add that. Okay, let me show this to you. I forgot it. Okay, here we go. So this is what Trump said.
me, sir, we like you very much, but we're going to no longer adhere to being in the reserve currency. We're not going to salute the dollar anymore. I'll say that's okay. And you're going to pay a 100% tariff on everything you sell into the United States. And we love your product. I hope you sell a lot of it into the United States, but you're going to pay 100% tariff. He will then follow it up by saying, sir, it would be an honor to stay with the reserve currency. That will be like just playing. That's not even chess, that's checkers. But you don't have other, listen to this, you don't have other people that can talk that way.
So that's Trump's solution. We're just going to, again, bully people into, so that, and that's mainly directed at China, right? So China, the majority of the products in this country are made in China. So that could backfire on Trump. Let's say Trump becomes president, which he might. Harris is running a horrible campaign. She's lost the Arab vote. She's, Obama coming out and shaming like black men. You better vote for her. I mean, that I've seen all of these videos on TikTok and Instagram from all these black men going, what? Excuse me? So, and then they're doing that whole ad about Jill Stein is taking votes and she's a Russian or whatever. That's what you do when you know you're losing. So that interview that Trump just gave, I don't think that's a smart plan, but the way Trump knows how to sell stuff. And it sounds like, boy, Trump's smart. Now that could easily backfire on Trump for a number of ways. First of all, since the majority of the products in this country come from China, China's going to go, okay. And then you won't be able to buy a TV. Think of all of the appliances you have in your home: TV, microwave, toaster oven. I'm looking at all my appliances, refrigerator, right? Basic home appliances. This laptop, they're all going to double in price because of Trump's tariff. People are going to revolt against that. See, he thinks it's like China will go, okay, that's fine. And part of the BRICS thing is that all of the BRICS countries will take Chinese products without this crazy tariff. So China will go, all right, America, you're on your own. Make your own toasters. And which we're going to put America back to work. Okay. Okay. But that's going to take a while. Like that might be this resurgence in buy American, but then this laptop, this is made in China. This laptop, the laptop, whatever computer device you're watching the show on, that's made in China. This microphone's made in China. Everything is made in China. This watch. So is that all going to go up 100%? We're going to lose against BRICS because China's 1.5 billion people. Russia is about 200 some million people. India is over 1 billion people. BRICS is over half of the world population. And who's on our side? Us, the UK, a couple of NATO countries, which aren't very big countries, Australia, which has a smaller population than the state of California, and Israel, who's committing a genocide that we're funding. This isn't going to go well. BRICS is going to crush us, and it doesn't matter who's president, Harris or Trump. Because Trump's just going to come in and go, I signed a policy, I'm number one, I do the best thing, and he's just living in delusional Trump land. And Harris is just going to go, I came from a middle-class family. And they're just both going to say their nonsense, and it's going to be awful. This is why I'm voting. I urge you, I cannot say this enough, to vote third party. And here's why. I'm voting Jill Stein. They are the Greens are the only third party that has enough ballot access to win. She's on enough states' ballots to get 490 some electoral votes. So you need 270 to win. So theoretically, she could win, right? Is it a crazy long shot? Yes. But the other independent candidates don't even have a chance at getting the electoral votes. They don't even have a chance. But if you want to vote for them, go for it. If the Greens get 5% of the vote, it gives them more financial power, right? They get more money for marketing, and there's down ballot races. But here's why I say, and I'm not here to debate which third party candidate we should vote for. That's why I'm voting Green, but you vote for whoever you want. Why I think you should absolutely vote third party is because you are sending, if you don't vote, that's what the Republicans and Democrats want you to do. They want you to not vote because it's easier to control a smaller electorate than a bigger one. Going out of your way, if the two parties see record numbers of people voting third party, tells both these filthy, corrupt parties, the Republicans and Democrats are filthy corrupt. If you want to debate, Graham, my filthy corrupt idiot is slightly better than the other filthy corrupt idiot, there's nothing. They're both for genocide. Genocide's my line in the sand. But what about Roe v. Wade? Some, liberals will argue. Well, first of all, two things. One, the Democrats have undermined Roe v. Wade throughout. You can look it up online. In 2007, Obama, running in the primary, said, when I'm day one as president, I will codify Roe v. Wade. There's a video of it. It's online. His words, not mine. He didn't do that. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asked to step down under Obama in his second term. She didn't, because she said, I want to be sworn in. I want to step down under Hillary. Hillary picked Tim Kaine, anti-abortion Democrat. I can't imagine that helped her choices. In 2022, right when the Supreme Court leak came out that they were going to overturn Roe v. Wade, what was Nancy Pelosi doing? Was she fighting for Roe v. Wade? Oh, no. She was in Texas campaigning for anti-abortion Democrat Henry Cooler, who recently was indicted for fraud. So that's the Democratic Party. So there's that. And then, I'm sorry, but it's a first world privilege to put Roe v. Wade ahead of a genocide. I just watched video footage of Israel bombed a hospital and people screaming being burned alive. That's Israel doing that. So you think Roe v. Wade, it's an important issue. I think women should have the right to choose, but over 20,000 dead Palestinian children, that's where I draw the line, and Harris supports that. And the Democratic Party have undermined Roe v. Wade. So you do whatever you got to do. But when you vote third party, you're telling this two-party system, I went out of my way to register to vote, to go to my ballot box, however you vote. I've already voted. We did vote by mail in California. I've already voted. I put it in a ballot box. The ballot boxes are open starting October 7th. There's early voting centers in my state. If there's an early voting center in your state, do it so you don't have to wait in line, vote by mail, whatever you can do. But what you're saying is I went out of, hey, you two corrupt parties, I went out of my way to not vote for you. If you stay at home, that helps them. I'm getting in your face. I'm putting this ballot. I'm against you. I'm voting against you. That's why you do it. Follow the money, connect the dots. That's how you get the truth. Buy Bitcoin, because the central banks, the US dollar is going to go under hard when BRICS passes this. It's going to go under hard. And our banking system, we could have a slow kind of crumbling like we're having, or we could have a big boom. And you'll be lucky. You'll be grateful you own some Bitcoin. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But these are vegan guns. And I want you to make Gotham great again. So shave your knuckles for justice.